I have been asked to do a video on addiction. So this is my view on addiction, particularly as relates to the body and embodiment, which is my specialist subject. So I'm not an addictions expert, academic, or anything like that. I am in long-term recovery. I think, God, what am I, 9 and a bit years sober now. Yeah, so don't drink, day at a time, all that. So where to start? Well, what is addiction? People often say, oh, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. And I kind of run those things by a couple of tests, you know. One is it's damage, whatever it is, you know, whether it's alcohol or drugs or porn or Facebook or whatever, you know, chocolate, whatever. Is it damaging something you love? Yeah, your work, your family, your health. Is it damaging something you love? That would be one. Another one would be something that you say you're not going to do and then do it anyway, right? Kind of compulsive activity in that way. So I'm not going to do it. Like I walked by the off license back in the day. I'm not going to go in, not going to go in, not going to go in. Whoops, I went in. Not going to have a drink. Not going to, whoops, I had a drink. Yeah. So that kind of saying you're not going to do it and end up doing it anyway. There's also other sort of tests you do. You lie about it, blah, blah. There's other tests out there, but they're two of the main ones for me. So yeah, what does the body have to do with any of this, right? So addiction recovery, kind of a big field. We'll niche down. So my friend and colleague Claire Myatt has written some stuff on this. She's worth looking at it, but not much has been written on the body and addiction. So let's look at craving. People that understand a lot about this, I would say the Buddhists, as a long-term Buddhist practitioner myself, tanha, grasping. This is a bodily phenomena. This is a bodily phenomena. The compulsive, gotta get it now kind of quality. It's not just like, hey, I'm thirsty, there's water. It's like, ah! Yeah, and also never enough, what sometimes called the black hole. I was aware when I was drinking, there was, as I was already doing somatic work actually in my drinking days, it's a while back now, but I was already, you know, doing some embodied work, that there was an uncomfortable feeling, which is in some ways quite subtle, but was very unpleasant for me, kind of in the chest area. For other people, it's other places. So what are we looking at? Self-regulation is a big one. So often what I was doing with alcohol was self-regulating that uncomfortable feeling, more generally my emotions, frustrations, difficulties with life. So most people self-regulate with social interaction. Yeah, most people aren't self-regulating with yoga. I mean, yes, these other things, but the general way we self-regulate, think of it, baby cries, we pick it up, okay, the baby bonds, yeah, that kind of social relation. So the breakdown in bonds, the breakdown in relationships, in intimacy is key to this. And again, these are bodily things. Empathy is a bodily thing. This is why trauma often can go hand in hand with addiction, because trauma can numb our bodies. Yeah, there can be a numbing response to trauma, which can make empathy very difficult. So that basic kind of self-regulatory thing, like talking to your friends, having a hug, you know, getting some support, that kind of thing can be broken. It's also why a lot of addiction recovery involves connection. It involves, you know, sharing in a 12-step meeting like AA, for example, Alcoholics Anonymous, where you'll share your feelings, but it's done in kind of a safe way because people don't self-regulate very well. You should see like the get-togethers when like AA groups try and discuss what they call like regional matters or whatever. It's mental. Yeah, even for like fairly like experienced people. So learning to self-regulate, I'd say, is a big part of it. That's where things like the centering tools for embodiment can be really, really helpful. You know, meditation, you know, across the board, I hear is helpful for addicts, people in recovery from different things, yoga, etc. So physical tools for self-regulating, and the social connections, learning to express oneself honestly, learning to listen is often not so good there. You know, there's cognitive things too, like learning to sort of avoid the black and white thinking on them and ask the either or. A lot of work with resentment in 12 steps. So this would be saying that something should not be that is. So accepting the things you can't change. That's often the difficult bit, not so much the courage to change the things again, but the acceptance part. Not for everyone, depending on their yin and yang kind of body preference. But for many addicts, alcoholics, etc., the acceptance part, and again, that's a bodily thing, to be able to let go in the body, to be able to come into one's back slightly. You know, this grasping is a physical thing. So if we can interrupt that tightening pattern and building awareness through mindfulness practices, for example, having that self-regulation, being able to socially connect with others as well as connect to some sort of spiritual source, you know, this is the key things here. We can think of addiction as a disease of condition, if you prefer, of disconnection. Yep, so learning to reconnect, and this is very much a bodily thing. So, what else? Yeah, they're the basics. I find basic just health and well-being is very helpful. I feel sad when I go to kind of 12-step meetings and there's people just obese and smoking. I mean, eating loads of sugary food. I mean, yeah, okay, I get it. That's better than the whiskey or whatever. But yeah, maybe one in sort of mid to late recovery to look at. Basic physical foundation does seem to be helpful there, and also just that charge of early recovery. Walking around a lot between meetings and doing some exercise. I think it's under talked about in meetings. People talk about the spiritual side, the psychological side, the social side, all really important. But that physical base as well, I would say, is massive as well, just in terms of brain chemistry, in terms of working off that charge, in terms of learning to regulate, and how the physical side affects the social, the spiritual, the emotional, all those things. Like the body's involved with all of that. So there's my rambling thoughts as an embodiment expert who's in recovery on addiction. I hope that's just it's one more perspective, one more thing there. Lots of people have lots of strong opinions on this kind of thing. There is an embodiment teacher's perspective. And do look up Claire Myatt, Myatt, as well.